Welcome back to the introduction to HTML3. This is the third introduction to our HTML. And in this part, we'll be talking about the HTML elements. If you've not watched the previous two videos, please kindly do that so that you can understand this next. And do not forget to like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Then when you have a question, put down the questions on comment sections, and do not forget to join our Telegram group where we can collaborate and coach one-on-one whatever questions you have. So let's proceed. In this part, we are going to learn some HTML elements and their importance. First, let us understand what an HTML element is. An HTML element is defined by a start tag, some content, and an end tag. The HTML element is everything from the start tag to the end tag. For instance, you have the tag name, you put your content, and you close your tag. Examples of some HTML elements is your H1, my first heading, your P tag, my first paragraph. We discussed all this in our previous videos. But take note, some HTML elements have no content, like the break element, which is the BR. These elements are called empty elements. They do not have an end tag, just like your P, which is having an end tag, your H is having an end tag. The start tag, for instance, the picture beside there, see the start tag, see the element content and the end tag. Your H1 here is a start tag, then your element content, whatever you want to put in your content, then you will end it to your end tag. While your P, which is a paragraph, you have your element, content, whatever you want, then you close it. But for BR, which is the break, it has no content element and it has no end tag. Don't worry, as we proceed, we are going to see some examples, maybe probably in our next videos or more of our videos, to code some of these examples to understand better on what we mean by not having an element content and an end tag. Do not forget to click on like and subscribe on our videos, and also as well turn on your notifications so that whenever we upload subsequent of our videos, more of our videos, you'll be notified and you can watch them. Now let's talk about the nested HTML element. HTML elements can be nested. What does that mean? It means that elements can contain other elements. All HTML documents consist of nested HTML elements. All of them. Now let's see some examples. The following example contains 4 HTML elements. We have the HTML body, H tag, and the P tag. Example, just like this code in our video on HTML1, talk about this, which we wrote it as our first code. Doc type HTML, the HTML, the body. So these are the content. After the body, you write your content, which include your H tag, your P tag, then you close the body and the HTML. Now we want to explain each of these. What do they mean? The HTML body as well as those tags. The HTML element is the root element and it defines the whole HTML document. It has a start tag and an end tag. Then inside the HTML element, inside it we have the body, which is nested inside. Then inside this body as well, we have your content, which those contents as well have their tag. For instance, we have H tag, which is H1. You write your content, then you make sure you close the tag. Then you also have a paragraph, your content, you close it, then you close your body. Now, the body element defines the document body. It has a start tag and an end tag. Then inside the body element, there are 2 other elements, as you can see above, which is the H1 and P. The H1, which is my first heading, P, which is my first paragraph. The H1 here element, it defines a heading. It has a start tag and an end tag. While the P here, the P element defines a paragraph. It has a start tag and an end tag. Just like what you can see below here, P, my first paragraph, start tag and an end tag. Now we want to move to another aspect which is very, very important. Never skip the end tag. Remember we said they always have a start tag and an end tag, apart from the ones that do not have an end tag. But the ones that have, never skip the end tag. Some elements will display correctly some HTML element, they may display correctly in your browser even if you forget the tag. For example, now we have HTML the body, Peter, this is paragraph. You can see that there's no end tag here in this both paragraph. Then we close it. But there's something we need to take note. Do not rely on this, because unexpected errors and results may occur if you forget to put your end tag. If we put this code now, you can try this. You copy this code from this HTML to this. Do not forget to put your doc type of HTML first before you start this HTML to this end. Then save it and right click, displaying it on your browser. It will display, it will show you this is a paragraph, this is a paragraph, although no end tag. But do not rely on it, because unexpected results and errors can occur. That's why it is important to always put your end tag between your P and closing it later. Now let me talk about empty HTML elements. HTML elements with no content are called empty elements. For instance, the BR, which is the break tag, it defines a line break and is an empty element without a closing tag. Example now, this is a break, paragraph with a line break. Can you see? So we are going to try this now. So I'd like you to watch how we try this in our browser. First, let's take this example. Remember when we talked about earlier that it is important for us to be careful about using our end tag. Never skip the end tag. Now, let's say for instance, I want to skip the end tag. This is my code. I'm skipping the end tag now. I'm not putting my close tag. This both P tag here, which I'm supposed to put. Now, I'm going to control save on it. After control save, do not forget to save your file with whatever name you want, .html. Then you save. After saving, you right click and open with whatever browser you want. So let me open and let's see what results we are going to get. So here is my results. I can have this is a paragraph, this is a paragraph. You can see that it does not affect my code, it still works out. So let's take the second about never skip the end tag. It may malfunction at the process when you have a lot of code that needs to be read out. So it's just because it's very small, that's why probably it's showing. So do not skip the end tag. It's just an example to tell you that it will as well show, it will as well display on your browser. So let's take the second example. Here is the second example. You can see now I've closed my tag. So now let's see the content of this BR, which is now having an end tag. You can see here, this is a, then I put my break, a paragraph with a line break. Trying to put my content, whatever you like, you can put here. I just want to put something like, then I put paragraph with a line break, so you can put whatever you want. Now let's see the function of this break. Remember, we do not put any end tag for this break now. There is no end tag. So what does that mean? So I'm going to show you now. Remember to control save before you display that on your browser. So since we've done the first one, so we are going to refresh our browser to view what that will show. You can see this is A. It's going to give us a break. Moving to the next line, then it's continue with this paragraph with a line. So I'm going to show you for you to understand the purpose of this BR, which is the break. So can you now see our results? So we have this A. Because of that BR, we break the next content. Paragraph with a line break. Let's break it down. Let's move it. Now this does not have malfunction, although because our BR does not have end tag to the back. It is like general and constant for BR not to have an end tag. So that's just the function of our BR tag, which is the break. It's break whatever content you are writing already to the next line. So I would like you to try yours as well. So now we've seen the function of what our BR is. It break the next content. I would like you to take note that HTML is not case sensitive. HTML tags are not case sensitive. Like the P tag, you can use capital letter P or a small letter P. Then the HTML standard does not require lowercase tag as well. But lowercase is recommended in HTML. We recommend you to use lowercase for your HTML when we are coding. So we'll be using lowercase tag names in all our codings, especially when working with our HTML. We have other HTML tag which we've not talked about, which I would like you to study on your own. We've talked about the HTML, the body, the H1 to H6, which defines the HTML headings. We talk about doc type, HTML, title, body, H1 to H6, B, talk about break. Why the HR we've not talked about, it defines a thematic change in the content. It gives it a line. Then why, whenever you want to write a content that you don't want it to be visible in the web page, you use this tag which defines a comment for you. We also have many more. We have this A tag, we talk about it, which is the hyperlink. You want to have a link, use your A. Then we have our AB, which defines an abbreviation or an acronym. But we do not use an acronym because it's no more supported in HTML5. We use ABBR instead, which defines an acronym. As well, we have the address, which defines the owner of the document. So for more HTML tag reference, you can check the link below in w3school.com. Click, you can just copy the link or write it out, paste it on your browser, and then to direct you to the other tag reference link that you can link. So we'll be moving to the next part, which is the HTML attributes. Then by the end of these parts, we are going to see a picture. We are going to build something like this together. I'm sure you like this. So follow along as we get to that. For HTML attributes, it provides additional information about HTML elements because all HTML elements can have attributes, and attributes provides additional information about elements. Attributes are always specified in the start tag. Attributes usually come in name or value pairs like name equals to value. As we go on, we are still going to understand some of these aspects. Under these HTML attributes, we are going to talk about the href attribute. Remember from our last video, we are told that the A tag defines a hyperlink, while the href attribute specifies the URL of the page the link goes. For example, we have a website here. We have ahref equals to https://www.gbo.com.ng. Visit my official page. So visit my official page is what will be displayed in our browser, which will give us the link to this website. Now, what is now the src attribute? Remember, in our last video, src also means source. We use this when we want to display our image in the browser. Now, the img, which is short form of image, is a tag. The img tag is used to embed an image in an HTML page. The src attribute specifies the path to the image to be displayed. We have an example, image src. Now this is the image file, while the alt is the alternative text, just like what has been explained in the last video, that sometimes when your browser does not give you, or you're having a poor network, your browser does not display the picture, this will tell you what probably needs to be in the picture. Now, remember I told that you always need to put your width and the height. When you put your width and the height, it helps your image to be precise, to have a particular size to be displayed on the browser. Now, we are going to try this code here using our Notepad. In this part, you can see we start with our doc type HTML. Our body is always the content of what should be displayed in the browser. Then this P is the paragraph, H2 is the headings, which is the second heading, which is H2. Then this image, we want it to be displayed in our browser. So remember, the first thing we need to do is we open our Notepad and copy the code. Don't worry, I'm going to see the code in the comment section. So we'll be trying this code out now with our Notepad. But before then, there's something I want you to know. In this part of there are two ways to specify the URL in the src attributes. First, the absolute URL. The absolute URL in that aspect, links to an external image that is hosted on another website. Example, like we have https:/myportfolio.org. So this is a link to an external image that is hosted in another website. But take note that external images might be under copyright. So if you do not get permission to use those images, you may be in violation of copyright laws. In addition to, you cannot control external image because the owner can suddenly just remove or change those images. Now, when we talk about relative URL, links to an image that is hosted within the website. In this part, the URL does not include the domain name. If the URL begins without a slash, it will be relative to the current page. For example, now we have this email alxafrica.jpg. If the URL begins with a slash, then it will be related to the domain. Example is, so this type of URL that is being used that will direct you to a particular image is in the current folder you are using for your code. It's always a link to an image that is hosted within the website. Don't worry, as we go along, we are still going to understand better. But for you to be able to understand this better, we need to use other code editor apart from the one we are using. But see, it is almost always best to use relative URL, this URL, because they will not break if you change the domain. For absolute sure, it's a link we get online, and anything can happen to it at any time. But this relative URL, it is something you create yourself within your website, a folder you create, or a particular image within the code or your website, or a particular folder you put when you are writing your code. So it will direct you, when you put the link there, it will direct you to where the images is, and it's always best to use relative URL. For better understanding of what I just said earlier about relative URL and absolute URL, let me explain relative URL because it is very, very important. Let me explain it to you. Now, links to an image hosted within the website. What does that mean? It means that you are embedded images that are stored on the same website where you are writing your HTML code, and these images could be part of the website design, illustration, or any visual content. Why the URL format, which means uniform resource locators? They are addresses that help browsers locate resources on the internet. In this case, URL points to an image file, and URL can either start with a slash or not. Relative URL now. A relative URL specifies the location of a resource in relation to the current page URL. This is particularly useful when linking to resources within your own website. Now let's take example 1. Relative URL without a slash. If the URL for the image starts without a slash, like this image _. It is relative to the current page location, and this means that the browser will look for the image in the same folder as the current page or in a folder specified in the URL. For example, now if the current page URL is this, the browser will look for the image at that page or the link and look for this image count.jpg. And also, example 2, relative URL with a slash. If the URL for the image starts with a slash, src, like this, it is relative to the domain's root. This means that the browser will look for the image starting from the domain directory, for the main domain directory. So if your domain is this, for instance, a domain is name of a website. If it's something like this, for instance, the browser will now look for the image inside that website, since you're giving it the link of that image in that website. Advantage of relative URL is that using relative URL is recommended because they are less likely to break if you change the domain name or move the website to a different server. Since relative URL are based on the structure of your website folders and groups, they adapt more easily to changes in the website location. So the relative URL is always in the folder of your website, like the image you want to use always in the folder where your website is. So you just write the link of that folder and it will take you straight. In summary, when you are embedding images on the website using HTML, you have the choice to use relative URL. These URLs can be either relative to the current page or relative to the domain root. So by using relative URL, you ensure that the images are linked properly and maintain their connection, even if you make changes to the website structure. So now we are going to check the image now, like the one I said earlier. But before then, we need to understand the width, height, and the auth attribute, although we discussed a little about that in our previous video. But for this, I explained earlier about relative URL. If you do not understand better, I would like you to ask questions on the comment section, or do not forget to check our Telegram group as well, which is on the bio. Then you can discuss one-on-one on whatever questions you have, or probably the parts you do not understand. But I would like you to put whatever questions you have on the comment section. And if you feel I'm too fast, you can move it back or reduce my pace in the setting. Then listen to it gradually and see the way I explain it. Then if you don't still understand it, you can put your question in the comment sections, and I'll be glad to reply and be of assistance where possible. And do not forget to join our Telegram group where you can understand better, where we can give you one-on-one coach on what aspects you are finding difficult. Now, to explain better on what the width, height, and auth attribute is, remember for our image tag, it should also contain the width and the height attributes, because specifying the width and the height attributes should be in pixels. The required auth attribute for the image tag specifies an alternate text as well for an image. If the image for some reason cannot be displayed, this can be due to a slow connection or an error in the SRC attribute, or if the user uses a screen reader. So remember I told you that our auth means our alternative text that we always put in our image, so that in case the image is unable to be displayed, or probably there's a slow connection or an error, then it's able to tell you what the image ought to be since it's not showing. So see what happens if we try to display an image that does not exist. So now, before we try this image that does not exist, we are going to copy and paste. We are going to copy and paste this URL, this doc type HTML and this content using our Notepad. So here is my Notepad. I'll copy and paste the code here, but don't forget, and don't worry, I'm going to put this link, this code that I copied and pasted here on the comment section. So do well to check if on this part, so that I'm able to do that, or you can just type this one after the other on your Notepad for easy understanding of it. So looking at this H2, remember our code must start with doc type HTML, HTML anybody. Now this H2 is the heading. Remember we have 6 headings, H1 to H6. Shows the reference of how important they are. Then this P is the paragraph. So this is going to be the heading of our content. Then this will come next under a paragraph. HTML images are defined with image tag and so on. Then these are images that is going to display. We have 3 images here that is going to display. This is an external link that we talk about. Remember we talked about 2 of them. The external link, or the relative one that we said is always important we should use. Now this second one is relative one, which should be in our folder, but this third one, is not going to display because it's not on my folder, and it's not easy for us to put in our folder where we are working, as long as we are working with Notepad. So that is why in our next video we are going to discuss on other code editor we can use as a programmer that will be convenient for you to code smoothly. There you are going to understand very well our relative URL that is important for us to use. But in this part now, I'm going to explain to you about these external links that will be used not in our own folder but via outside, like someone else's website or stuff, that we can use that image. But remember the disadvantage that probably if the domain name or the owner of the website remove the image and you use it in your own website, the link, which means the image will no longer display. But we are going to show you this. Remember, after writing your code on Notepad, what will you do? You control save. I put your control and your S. So after you control save, when you control save, it will ask you what folder, where do you want to save it to. So you can pick wherever you want, either your document or stuff like that. Then you remember to name it whatever name you want, .html. If you have not watched our 2 previous videos, please try to do so that you know how to save your work on your Notepad, in your file. Notepad work on your file. So this is my file here. I've already saved mine to be cat.html. So that's why it's displaying like this. So after you saved it, open your file, double click on your file, then right click on your HTML that you created, then you open it with any browser of your choice. So I'm going to use my Google Chrome here now. So let's see what is displaying. So remember, we have 3 images there. So let's see which one is going to show, or it's still loading. Now we have the 2 images. The first one is the cat and the other one is a lady smiling. Now let's see back our notepad and see our code. Now looking at this here, we have this is our code here. Then we have these 2 links here. The first one is cat and the second one is the lady here. The third one here is not showing because it is the relative URL we are talking about, that it has to be in the work your folder. So I'm still going to talk about that in our next video, of how you can save your files, your folder, or your pictures, or whatever you want to use in your code inside the same code editor you are using, so that when you put the link to the browser will look for it inside that folder you are working on. But this 2 that is displaying now is the external link, which might be for someone's website, but it has its advantage. The pictures or the images might have copyright, so if you use someone's images or pictures, it can lead to trouble. So it's better to use your own image that you are sure of. So this last one did not show, which is the image cat, because it's not linked to any folder or anywhere. So that is why you can see something like this down here. You can see it's not showing. It's not showing the image because of the folder that is not indicating. Now you can see that in this place now, we did not put our alt here in this notepad. So now I'm going to write my alt here, so that since it's not showing, it should be able to show me or display the name of the image, since it's not showing my image. So what is in that? Let's say a cat that is smiling. Cat smiling. Let's say that's what should be in that image. But since the image is not existing, let's see what to show. So remember, after typing anything or correcting anything, you control save. After you control save, minimize, then go back, refresh your browser. So let's see, since it's not showing our picture. Now, can you see this down here? Cat smiling. It's supposed to display a picture here, but because the picture is not real, or the browser could not locate the folder of the picture, so it has to put that alt is the alternate text. So it's trying to tell us that, remember from what we discussed here, from what we discussed earlier, that the alternate text is always written whenever it is not displaying. Maybe it's due to a slow connection or an error in the SRC. So you can see that there's an error in the SRC image because the image does not exist. So the alt now try to tell us what is there, just like what we can see from you can see that alt cat smiling, there's an error in the SRC. So when we display it now on our browser, let me show you again on our browser, you can see that it shows cats smiling, but it's not displaying our image. So can you see the importance of our alt text, our alternative text? So the person trying to check the web page, the user using it will know that probably this is what's supposed to be here, but my browser is not displaying it. So the person understand the picture that also to be there. The person. So let's continue. Now, before we continue, we need to talk about the height and the width of the picture. Let's go back to our notepad. You will see that in the height, the width here is 500 and the height is 400. And that is why it is displaying that same height on our picture. The width is from here to this point here, which is 500, and the height is 400. Now let me change one of the heights of the picture so that you can see what we are talking about. Let's say I change the height of this to be 600. Now let's control save, that's control S, and go back to our browser. Let's see how the image will be displayed. Remember to refresh as well after control save. Now it's still loading. Now you can see that the image of the cat is the only one I changed the height. The height is more longer than the second image because I put 600. Can you see? Now that is why you have to indicate whatever height or width you want on your code to display whatever you want. If I want it to be smaller, probably my second picture of the lady smiling, maybe I want something smaller. Let me say I put 300 in the height, and here the width I put, let's say 200. Now let me Control Save, Control S, and go back to my browser, and let's refresh to see how the image will display after I've changed my height and my width of the lady smiling. So you can walk to it. You can see that it's very small now. I changed the width to be very, very small and the height to be very, very small. So it displays whatever you want. It adjusts to whatever settings I was given. Whatever you want. So this SRC attribute is the heading here on our notepad that we've written earlier. As you can see, H is always heading. So our heading is 6 form. It matters levels of bold, how bold you want it to be. So these are H2 heading, then this paragraph and this is the content of what is in the paragraph, as you can see in our browser. So these are heading, the SRC attribute. This is what is written in the browser, the content of our paragraph, because there's a paragraph there, so it moves the content down to show that the content should be in the next line or should have a paragraph. Now, what if I now change my heading here? I change it to be H5. Let's see how it's going to display in our browser. Do not forget, after changing anything, you Control Save, go back to your browser and refresh. So let's see how small it is. Can you see how small it is now? Yes, I've changed it to what? H5. If I change it to be very, very small. If I change it back to H, it was in H2 earlier. If I change it to H1, then you see how big it is, because that is the highest heading we can have. So let's see. I'm done with that, so I Control Save. Then I'll go back to my browser. I Control Save. Go back to my browser and refresh. So you can see how big it is now. This is the H1, that's the highest heading. So this is very, very simple. If you still have questions for my explanation, feel free to ask in the comment section. I'll be there to listen. Now we've talked about our image attributes, stuff like that. We should use the relative areas. So then what is now the style attribute? The style attribute is used to add styles to an element, such as color, font, size, and more. Now, example, we have the P style, color red. This is a red paragraph. P, the style attribute is used to add styles to an element, such as color. Now, remember in the initial stage when we put our P, all these styles goes to color red is not there. We only put our P, then write our content. Now, if we put star equals to color red into it, what would that give us? Now let's try this. Star equals to color red. Let's try this. Let's try this. So inside our P now, we're going to try this. Equals to color red. Can you see? I've tried the P style equals color red. Now let's see, what does this mean when I put P style equals to color red inside our content? What changes will it make? After doing that, remember to Control Save, Control S. Then let's go to our browser. Then we'll refresh. Remember to refresh. Can you see the changes now? It changed the content of your P tag, the paragraph, into color red. You can adjust it to any color you want, color blue, color orange, whatever color you want, then you see it exactly. Just try, play with this code, make something different from what I've done, then you see you surely really enjoy working on this. And if you still have questions, feel free to ask in the comment section or join the Telegram group where we can discuss one-on-one. Do not forget to like our video. Do not forget to subscribe if you are still just joining us. If you don't understand this, if you think you've gone so far, do not forget to watch those previous video we uploaded. so that you can understand to this point. And if you're enjoying this video, do not forget to click on like and always on your notification for more videos coming. If you like the video, do not forget to share as well, so that others can benefit just like you are benefiting as well. And if you've not subscribed, do not forget to subscribe so that you can keep enjoying this opportunity to teach you HTML. Now let's go back to our HTML. We also have the lang attribute. What does that mean? It says you should always include the language attribute inside the HTML tag. Language is short form of lang in our coding. So when you say lang, it is the language attribute. Say always include them in your HTML tag to declare the language of the web page. So whenever you put it, it will help it to understand the language attribute it is. So this means that to assist search engines and browser, country code can also be added to the language code in the language attributes. Now let's see the example. The following example specifies English as the language and United States as the country. So we have to type HTML. HTML language is English in US before you write your body and content. So if you specify it helps the search engines or the browser to know the country code or the language attribute the code is being written or needs to be displayed. So it is important we also include it. So now let's try to include it now in our browser, in our code. So in this HTML, this is where you're going to put it. After you've written your HTML space, then you can put lang equals to English capital letter. So you close it, and that's all. Let's refresh again and let's see. Okay, our image is here. So it's still the same thing, but it is important for you to always specify your language to help the browser understand the language you are writing your code on and to display on. So let's continue back for my explanation. So the title attribute, now we are done with that language attribute. We have another aspect, which is the title attribute. What does that do? The title attribute is defined as some extra information now about your element, and the value of the title attribute will display as a tooltip when you mouse over the elements. Let's take for example, we have our dot type, HTML, HTML, the body, we have the header normally, we have our p title. Now, what's the purpose of this p title? Let's see. When we write this, let's see what is going to show us on our notepad. So let's see the difference. Okay, since we already have our p style color initially, so we want to write something like this. So let's put our p title here. Now let's rewrite the title attributes here under this h1. Yeah, so we have okay. So let's see. Remember to always, when you have changes on your notepad, remember to always Control save. Then you go back to your browser. After Control save, you go to your browser, then you refresh. So can you see now? It's already showing it. Display the title attributes. What we just code on our notepad now. It's already displaying that. Can you see? Display the title attributes. Can you see it here? Yes. So this is just a title, and this is giving it a star. You can include as you go on. Don't worry, you are going to understand better of how to include stars on your code. Let's go back to our title attribute now. So we always quote attributes value. What does that mean? Whenever you want to write a link to whatever website from what we discussed earlier today, always put a quote. Can you see in this circle? The quote, double quotes here and double quotes here. This is the right way to write the link. But this second one is the wrong way. You can see there's no quotes here. There's no quotes here. So it is the wrong way to write it, because it will not display properly in your web page. Now the summary of what you've learned so far from the HTML attributes is that all HTML elements can have attributes, and the HTML attribute of A at the A tag specifies the URL of the page the link goes to. The SRC attributes of which is the image is also specifies the path to the image to be displayed, while the width and the height attribute of the image is provides size information for the images. The alt attribute of image 2 is provides an alternative text for an image. The style attribute is used to add styles to an element such as color, can add your font size and more. In our next video, don't worry, you get to understand how we add all those things to our style. Then the language attributes of the HTML tag declares the language of the web page, and as well the title attribute defines some extra information about an element. So go back to the previous video if you think I'm fast, so that you can gradually understand what we discussed so far. And if you have any question, do not forget to put it on the comment sections so I can discuss on that. And do not forget to join our Telegram group where we discuss one-on-one, in fact live classes if possible, if for further information on what we have. And if you have questions there, we discuss it. And in fact, you can see like minds of you that you can collaborate together and share ideas as well. And do not forget to like and subscribe on our channel. If you're just joining us, do not forget to like, subscribe. If you're enjoying the video, do not forget to share this channel to others who might be finding opportunity to learn tech just like you are doing right now. And if you do not understand some aspects we've discussed so far, do not forget to watch those previous videos, because if you are just a beginner in the HTML, you need the knowledge of the previous video to understand all these parts we've discussed today. So the second assignment for this video, remember we talked about the first assignment when we talked about the HTML element earlier. The second assignment for this video is, the first one is you write at least 10 more HTML tag reference using the link in the comment section. Okay, so this one now is, there's a link in the comment section that was given. When you check the tag reference on the link that was given, we're also going to put the link in the comment section so that you can easily access it. So you can write 10 more HTML tag reference on that link, then you can put it on the comment section so that we can see how far you've gone. Then write your own code using the attributes explained in this video to display at least 5 different images. If you think you don't understand what the assignment is all about, put it on the comment section. We'll explain it more better. Then do not forget to ask questions as well in the Telegram group, where we can explain and discuss more better with you. Do not forget to like our videos, subscribe and share. Always turn on your notifications so that when subsequent videos come, you can be able to know and read more. So see you in the next video, where we are going to explain 5 code editor instead of Notepad. Remember, we're using Notepad all along. As a programmer, we have code editor which is better than Notepad. For simplicity, it makes it easier for you. In fact, remember we talked about relative URL earlier, that is best for us to use in our code. So we cannot do this in our Notepad. It's easier for us to use that when we use other code editor, which as a developer you need to know. So we're going to discuss that 5 code editors, so you can pick any one of your choice that you want and you can start working on it. So do not forget to on your notifications so that when this video comes up, you'll be able to get notified and watch it. If you are enjoying this video, do not forget to share as well, like this video, and as well subscribe to our channel for more of our content. So thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next video. Bye.